Welcome to video 24 in our van build series. Back in video 17, we tackled one wall, our stainless steel lookalike kitchen galley wall. In this video, we're going to tackle the remaining walls in the van. And we're going to bring two different solutions to the table, one made from wood and one made from aluminum. You will see why we used both shortly. Enough talk, let's get started.
If you'll notice that there's no framing here at all. So many people are framing their walls and then attaching to the wood and so forth. We're not doing that. As a matter of fact, the approach that we're going to take, I haven't seen anybody do. That doesn't mean it's going to work. But we are going to, rather than build out and essentially be reducing the width of the cabin, we're going to be using aluminum. This is 1/16 aluminum, recycled, used to be a road sign. And this aluminum is going to go right against the fabric. I'm not going to, or the insulation. I'm not going to compress the Thinsulite. I'm going to keep it just about an inch and a half thick, something like that. And so in other words, it will not be out like this, where we lose those 2 inches here and 2 inches there. I need to retain this space. Now, there's nothing to screw to here. This is outside skin. There's no ribs. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to be using our bending brake. Me and a buddy built a bending brake, I don't know, 15 years ago. And I'm going to refamiliarize myself with that to make very accurate bends. And the idea here is the aluminum, which will cover up this entire area with a cutout for the window and so forth. We'll have looks to be about a 95-degree bend here, and down in this area here, I've already checked it once, it looks to be 112 degrees. So the metal will actually bend outward like this, and I'll do it in a bending brake, a single bend here and a single bend there. And then I'll be able to push it in like this and probably use 3 M4 or M5 rivet nuts to hold the metal in place here and there. So to get started, I have to refamiliarize myself with the bending brake, and I'm going to do that by using a scrap piece of aluminum. So here's our first test piece, 72 centimeters long, 5-inch flange with a 112-degree bend, 64 centimeter centerpiece, then a 99-degree bend, and a 3-inch flange, 3 centimeter flange. And I'm pretty close. Yeah, pretty close. Certainly close enough to find out what I need to do. So I've pulled the piece out of the bending brake, and I want to get a close-up of the pencil line there. It appears to be fairly centered there. So I might have the brake in the right position. Take a look at this side here. Gosh, that's pretty close to being perfect. So we'll do a test fit here. And of course we're testing not only for the length between the bends, but the actual angles of the bend as well. So let's go give that our first test fit. Wow. Okay, so I think, wow, that's pretty good. I think that, yeah, I'm not crushing the insulation. It's nice and fluffy, or whatever you call it, behind it. What are the chances I got that on the first try? I would say slim. So I think I'm going to reduce this to 639 millimeters and reduce this flange by a good ½ centimeter down to 4.5. But the angles seem to be okay.
Here I am beginning to make the cardboard template. I started with just a simple rectangle. I then used a woodworking compass to roughly capture the shape of each corner. Just my luck, all 4 corners are different. I then used just individual pieces of cardboard to capture each corner. This allowed me to perfect the curvature on the cardboard before passing it to the master sheet of cardboard that I would ultimately use to transfer the measurements to the aluminum.
Wow.
When it came time to tracing the opening of the window, I took a slightly different approach. I quickly made my own scribing tool. This would accurately capture the outer edges of the window frame and transfer it to the cardboard. Lucky for me, this time all four corners are the same. Notice the thin strips of plywood glued to the cardboard? That's to make the unit more rigid, both for fitting and then later tracing.
That looks pretty good.
With the template finished, I started by removing 3/4 of an inch of aluminum off the recycled road sign. This would remove the screw holes that were previously used to mount the sign to plywood.
Well, I have finished cutting the basic shape of the 1/16 aluminum out of the recycled road sign, and I have it fairly accurately placed. I'm leaving 2.5 centimeters from the top, and on the sides, if you notice, I've cut it back slightly. Just take a look here. So I'm leaving myself about, I'm going to say 3/16 of an inch, and that will allow for 1/8 inch foam and fabric and something similar on the wall next to it. I don't want it too snug.
The jigsaw with a fine-tooth metal cutting blade worked well. Final template and aluminum comparison prior to hitting the bending brake. Okay, because I cut the flange so short, just 2.5 centimeters, it placed tremendous strain on my homemade bending brake. If you watch closely, you will see the bending brake's top plate raise under the force of the aluminum. I knew better, but I had forgotten this important point. With thicker material like this, you need a larger flange to complete the bend with ease. After you have the bend made, then you cut the flange to the correct length. This small flange literally took my bending brake to the limit. I had to stand on the table legs to hold it down while making this bend. Once I got the bend started, it quickly became easier. The other side effect of bending shorter flanges is the metal bends easier at the ends and less so in the middle. This means that there will be a little bit of hand adjustments to complete the work.
That is it. That's it. That's it.
With one side done, time to tackle the lower bend. Larger flange, this will be easier. This flange is 4 centimeters and it made all of the difference. The brake made an easy job of it.
How's that look? Too much? Too much on this one, eh?
Yeah.
So it's always bowed a little bit in the... I think I'm going to leave her there. What do you think?
Looks fabulous.
Well, I have 2 panels made now. The second one, literally a mirror image of the first, minus the window. This window is mounted to the outside skin, obviously, of the van. And my panel is mounted to the framework. So if we take a look at this little drawing I've done on the cardboard, the outside skin has got a curvature to it. The wall that I just put in, of course, is completely flat. Well, this window is installed in this outside skin. So, at the top here, right at the top here, the metal of the wall that I put in is doing an excellent job holding the insulation back, and it looks excellent. But down towards the bottom, where the window is following the curvature of the van, this metal is actually sticking out further than what the window is. I hadn't thought of that at all. So I've been at home thinking about this for a couple of days, on how am I going to handle it. One of the ways I came up is just build a little bit of an aluminum molding, and I'd actually reuse these screws here to hold it in place. And it would simply just mount on like this and hold the skin, up against it. You would never look at it twice. It requires very little pressure here. So this is just a cosmetic fix. So that's one option. But I think I'm going to go a different route. So, do you remember the aluminum piece I made? Well, I'm going to put a bend in it, right down the middle. And of course, I don't want to damage the good piece. I thought I'd start with this. So, here's the metal and how it would fit now. Put a little bit of a spring in it. I may have put too much on this, I don't know. Behind the window there. But take a look at that. So, I don't think I have to manufacture anything here. Okay, this worked out really well. I have this now flush, which is great. That little crease along there made all the difference.
With the wall piece manufactured, it's now time to cover it. We chose Duramax dark gray upholstery fabric. There's a link in the description. I can't say enough positive things about this fabric. In short, buy it. Since this wall piece will be mounted near our heads, we wanted to add 1/8 of an inch of Landau foam. It's an interior upholstery closed cell foam, and it would add just a subtle amount of padding beneath our fabric. Landau foam is commonly used on automotive door panels. Unfortunately, during the time that we're working on this project, this product was unavailable anywhere. Everyone had it on back order. Here I have a package of non-slip drawer liner. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick, it cuts easy, it sticks well with spray adhesive, and it seems to be quite durable and is waterproof. And if you look closely, I think it says it can be used on van walls. Here's a picture of the drawer liner adhered to the bottom half of the panel. Now, I ended up covering the whole panel. I just wanted to quickly do a test fit here to make sure I hadn't overlooked something. With the drawer liner installed as a backing, I'm now starting to install the Duramax dark gray fabric. The spray I'm using is 3M 77 all-purpose spray adhesive. I like this stuff. Most videos that I came across on the web, most people are using 3M 90 Hi Strength spray adhesive. I've used that product as well, and I'll do a side-by-side comparison between the 3M 90 and the 3M 77 in video 26. With 3M 77, you wait approximately 30 seconds before bonding the material. Again, this fabric is fantastic. It is super durable and has just enough stretch to wrap around corners. I can't think of a better fabric to use for this application. Now, when working on the back side, I just did a little bit at a time, sprayed, waited 30 seconds, and bonded. With respect to 3M 77 and 3M 90, I prefer the 77 for wrapping and quickly holding the fabric on the backside.
That's really good. That's really good. So just a very subtle 1/8 of an inch padding makes all the difference. It's nice to the touch versus the metal that has...
Yeah, you'd think that's not even noticeable, but it really is. Wow.
I can't believe how professional this looks. Seriously, a recycled road sign, a homemade bending brake, a little glue and fabric, and I got these kind of results.
Wow. Okay, we're about to put this panel up. I have it completely insulated. This is Thinsulite, behind that is Kilmat. This rib down the center, I have stuffed this Thinsulite on the inside of it and all the way down. And then I also added additional little chunks in these little pockets. So I've done everything I can from an insulation standpoint.
The passenger side was an exact copy of the driver's side, minus the window and minus the gentle crease down the middle, as it was not needed. No surprises here, it just quickly installed.
Oh, is that nice?
Moving from the walls to the sliding door, we move from metal to wood. The plastic removed from the cargo van sliding door was broken and cracked all over the place, so I wasn't going to try to reuse it. Instead, I traced it on 3/16 plywood. Then, prior to covering the plywood with fabric, I test fit the unit to ensure I had all the holes in the right place. Whether you're covering wood or aluminum with fabric, it makes no difference, so I'm just going to jump ahead to the next area to tackle.
So the next area I'm going to address is this area, and our cargo van didn't come with anything that plugged these holes, and my wife was suggesting we just put a couple of these in, and that's actually not a bad idea. But I want to dress it up just a little bit, so I'll show you what I'm going to do.
Well, I went from wood back to aluminum and bent a piece on the bending brake.
Oh my gosh, that's it.
Very solid.
Nice way of finishing it.
Wow. This whole door is amazing, but this is amazing. The angle and the angle here. Wow. Yeah, it's fabulous. Oh my God.
Using the existing holes, we made a nice little trim piece. FYI, I did add a 1/8 inch rubber drawer mat to this area as well because it's at waist height and you're more likely to touch it with your hands. It's subtle, but it's nice. The last piece to address on the door was the panel above the glass. Like the panel below the glass, I went back to wood. I'm going to end the video here because the rest of the wall panels were tackled in exactly the same fashion, either using thin plywood wrapped in fabric or using aluminum wrapped in fabric. In video 26, 2 videos from now, you will see how I tackled all of the trim areas, the difficult areas above the sliding door, the vertical pillars, and the transition area between the cedar roof and the fabric walls. Hey, thanks for watching. Cheers.